Tony Busby targets black men, and I believe he's going to release a 30-second clip of a sex tape that tries to make me look guilty and play into every stereotype you could possibly imagine.
A brand new lawsuit was just filed in Nevada claiming Sharpe was manipulative and abusive and eventually sexually assaulted a Jane Doe. You remember his interview with comedian Cat Williams in January 2024 on Club Shay Shay?
Pro Football Hall of Famer and Club Shay Shay host Shannon Sharpe is being sued for $50 million, and he's being accused of SA and battery.
Imagine waking up to headlines that the man who once dominated the NFL, who became a cultural icon with his unfiltered takes and larger-than-life personality, is now facing a lawsuit so massive it could completely derail everything he's built. Shannon Sharpe, yes, that Shannon Sharpe, is being sued for $50 million over allegations that include abuse, battery, and emotional trauma. And the internet? It's exploding. For years, fans knew him as the no-nonsense co-host who served hot takes with a grin and charisma that pulled viewers in like gravity. But now, all of that is overshadowed by a civil lawsuit filed in Nevada, accusing him of actions far darker than anything we've ever seen from him on screen. We're talking about a case so serious that networks, brands, and fans are all watching nervously from the sidelines, wondering what happens next. Let's back up. According to public court documents, a woman under the alias Jane Doe is suing Sharpe for $50 million, claiming that their relationship, which started off as flirtation and mentorship at a Los Angeles gym, spiraled into manipulation, emotional distress, and what she describes as repeated non-consensual incidents. She was 20 when they met, allegedly charmed by his status and promises of guidance, but the complaint claims that turned into a nightmare of intimidation and control. The lawsuit details moments from the final months of 2024 and the start of 2025, painting a picture of a woman left shaken and afraid, allegedly subjected to verbal outbursts, possessiveness, and threats that escalated into physical confrontations. The most alarming part? One claim says he displayed a firearm during an argument and even stopped her from contacting friends by seizing her phone. She says she was crying, terrified, and allegedly told to stay silent or face consequences. Now, let's be clear. These are accusations, not verified facts. Shannon Sharpe has denied every bit of it. His legal team, led by attorney Lanny Davis, came out swinging, calling the lawsuit not just baseless, but an attempt at blackmail. Davis insists Sharpe has evidence to clear his name and that this case is being fueled by attention-seeking, not truth. Still, the lawsuit alone is enough to trigger damage, especially when you live under the microscope of public scrutiny. Behind the scenes, there's already panic. Insiders say the once vibrant energy around Club Shay has turned anxious. Meetings feel tense. Segments are reportedly getting rearranged last minute, and publicists are working overtime. The vibe? Something's clearly shifted. But here's where things go nuclear. One of the most explosive allegations in the complaint says Sharpe not only verbally threatened the plaintiff, but physically assaulted her, allegedly grabbing her neck and making a chilling statement if she dared speak out. That line alone, regardless of whether it holds up in court, sent social media into overdrive. Screenshots, reactions, breakdown videos, you name it, people are dissecting every word. And while Sharpe himself hasn't said much publicly beyond legal statements, he's still showing up on ESPN's First Take as if nothing happened. The same day this news broke, he appeared live on air, breaking down sports scores while millions were questioning what was going on behind the camera. Meanwhile, advocacy groups have started demanding that ESPN suspend him pending investigation. Fans are split. Some insist on waiting for the facts. Others believe the accusation should be enough to hit pause on his media appearances. And of course, there are those who are just watching the chaos unfold, turning every clip into a meme or thread. But here's a crucial reminder. This is a civil case, not a criminal one. That means the bar for proof isn't beyond a reasonable doubt, like in criminal trials. It's preponderance of evidence. Translation? The court just needs to believe it's more likely than not that what she's saying is true. And if a jury does buy her side, the fallout won't be jail time. It'll be financial ruin and irreversible damage to Sharpe's public image. And that might be the real battlefield here. Not the courtroom, but public perception. Let's rewind to where this all supposedly started, the gym. According to the complaint, their first interaction wasn't hostile. In fact, it was downright cinematic. Flirty challenges, a promise of mentorship from a sports legend, maybe even the illusion of a lucky break for a young woman in LA trying to find her way. But beneath the charm, she now says, was a darker motive. She claims the relationship escalated quickly, from friendly banter to extravagant perks, high-end spa days, private chef meals, courtside Lakers games. On the surface, it looked like the dream life. But according to her, those luxuries came with a cost on her autonomy. She says Sharpe became controlling, monitoring her texts, interrogating her about friends, demanding instant responses late at night. And when she didn't comply, allegedly, things got aggressive. The complaint says he bombarded her with messages, showed up uninvited, even figured out how to enter her apartment complex without permission. The language is clear. It wasn't love, it was control. Now here's where it gets messier. In September 2024, everything allegedly started to unravel. During an Instagram live stream, Sharpe was supposedly caught in the background with another woman, a moment the plaintiff describes as a betrayal. According to her, it was the trigger that made her pull away, but she claims he wouldn't let go. Not only did he try to pull her back in with lavish gifts, but he also allegedly threatened to ruin her reputation if she spoke up. In the legal world, these claims are called intentional infliction of emotional distress. But in the court of public opinion, it's a bombshell. Sharpe, in response, didn't just deny the allegations. He went public with what he says are receipts, texts from the woman, including one where she allegedly says, "I want you to put a dog collar around my neck and choke me with it while you're effing me." That message is now at the center of online debate, with supporters pointing to it as proof the relationship was consensual and critics calling it irrelevant to the alleged abuse. His legal team isn't backing down either. They argue she's not a victim, she's playing a calculated game. And helping drive that point home, attorney Tony Boothby. If that name rings a bell, it's because he represented over 20 women in the massive Deshaun Watson case. He's now on this one, which instantly raised eyebrows. To some, it signals that the case is serious. To others, it's a sign that a media circus is about to unfold. Because let's be honest, when Boothby shows up, he doesn't do small. He brings headlines. And if this lawsuit goes to trial, it won't just be about what happened in private. It'll be about the story that the internet believes first. That's how reputations are built or destroyed. And right now, Sharpe's empire is teetering. Between ESPN segments, podcast deals, and brand endorsements, the stakes are enormous. This isn't just a PR problem. It's potentially a 9-figure fallout. Sources say his podcast, Club Shay Shay, was in line for massive expansion deals. We're talking rumored 9-figure territory. But brands don't like heat, and lawsuits like this, they scorch everything in sight. Already, there's talk that some sponsors are privately reviewing their contracts, the kind with morality clauses. You know, the ones that let companies jump ship the moment your name becomes radioactive. Even retailers linked to his merchandise are reportedly watching the situation closely. Translation? They'll stick around until they won't. And while Sharpe is still showing up to work, his on-camera energy is being dissected frame by frame. Broadcasters whisper about him looking distracted, checking his phone during commercial breaks, and appearing distant. Publicly, he's trying to keep the mask on, but insiders say the pressure is mounting. Because beyond the cameras and contracts, this case has stirred a much bigger conversation, one that goes far beyond Shannon Sharpe. This lawsuit has ripped open discussions that the sports world, and honestly, the entertainment industry at large, has tried to tiptoe around for years. Conversations about power dynamics, about the blurry lines between fame, consent, and control, and especially about how easily influence and wealth can shift the balance in relationships. Supporters of the plaintiff argue that this is textbook abuse of power, a seasoned public figure allegedly using fame, resources, and intimidation to trap someone younger and more vulnerable. On the flip side, Sharpe's defenders say this is just another high-profile figure being targeted because he's rich, visible, and successful, and that it's all about getting a payout. But here's the thing, it doesn't even matter what the truth is yet, because long before evidence is presented in court, this battle is already being fought, and in some ways, lost, online. Social media has turned this into a 24/7 trial. Clips of Sharpe, old interviews, even tweets from years ago are being unearthed and recirculated as if they're evidence. People are playing internet detective, analyzing his movements, digging up his travel logs, cross-referencing timelines from the lawsuit with past podcast recordings, all to try and prove whether he was in certain places at certain times. One major debate erupted when fans found a Club Shay Shay episode recorded in Atlanta around the same time the plaintiff said an incident occurred in Los Angeles. It instantly spiraled into accusations of lying, followed by the plaintiff's legal team clarifying that the specific incident dates will be detailed more thoroughly during discovery. It's chaos, and it's exactly what cases like this turn into when played out in the digital arena. Meanwhile, both legal teams are already preparing for war. Sharpe's side is expected to request protective orders, trying to limit what evidence gets made public, especially anything that could be used out of context to fuel more outrage. The plaintiff's team may push back, arguing that the public deserves transparency, especially in a case that already lives under a spotlight. But here's what's getting missed in all the headline chasing: the human toll. According to court documents, the plaintiff says she's been in therapy since the alleged incidents, dealing with anxiety, panic attacks, and nightmares. On Sharpe's side, insiders describe mood swings, exhaustion, and emotional withdrawal. Even veteran broadcasters have reportedly noticed that something's off. The confident, quick-witted Shannon Sharpe doesn't seem quite as sharp off camera. And then there's the looming financial threat. Analysts estimate that if this goes to trial, and if Sharpe loses, the damages, including therapy costs, reputational harm, and punitive payouts, could easily spiral past 8 figures. And that's not counting the potential sponsor loss or hit to his podcast valuation. While $50 million might seem like an attention-grabbing number tossed in a filing, legal experts say juries often approve smaller amounts unless compelling evidence really tips the scales. Right now, both sides are in the pretrial phase. Subpoenas are expected, depositions are being scheduled, and every text, email, and cloud backup from both parties is being scrutinized. And because this is a civil suit in Nevada, the discovery rules are wide. That means a lot of very personal, very uncomfortable details might come out before a jury ever hears a single word. And let's not forget the venue itself. Sharpe primarily lives in Los Angeles, but the suit was filed in Nevada, a decision some legal analysts believe was strategic. Nevada has faster courts than California and longer look-back windows on certain civil claims. That means the plaintiff's team might have chosen this state because it gave them a better chance to push their case forward more aggressively. Sharpe's attorneys might challenge that, requesting a venue change, arguing that most of the key data, witnesses, and incidents trace back to California. And trust, even that decision could set the tone for how this case is handled in the public eye. Because a jury in Los Angeles might view a sports icon very differently than one in Las Vegas. Still, the biggest risk isn't just financial or legal. It's reputational. Shannon Sharpe's entire brand is built on credibility. Whether he's breaking down NFL plays or clapping back with viral one-liners, people trust that what he's saying is genuine. But all of that is fragile when the internet turns. Because in the digital age, perception travels faster than evidence. And right now, the perception, it's unraveling. While lawyers spar behind the scenes, real-world consequences are already unfolding. Industry whispers say certain brands are reevaluating Sharpe's sponsorship agreements, not canceling yet, but definitely preparing exit strategies if the case gains more traction. You don't need a guilty verdict to scare off a corporate board, just bad optics. And right now, the optics are brutal. This isn't just about Shannon Sharpe, the sports analyst. It's about Shannon Sharpe, the business, the brand, the revenue machine. His transition from NFL legend to media powerhouse was nearly flawless, until now. With ESPN betting big on his chemistry with Stephen A. Smith, executives now face a nightmare dilemma. Keep him on air and risk backlash? Or bench him and fuel a new controversy about trial by media? Internally, ESPN is reportedly reviewing all options. Suspension? Quiet leave? Standing by him until the court makes a ruling? Every route has risks, and each one is being analyzed through a PR lens. Because they've been burned before, and they know the internet doesn't forget. Let's not ignore the podcast empire either. Club Shay was on a rocket trajectory, bolstered by viral interviews and rumored to be negotiating a 9-figure expansion. But now, advertisers are stalling. Guest bookings are being quietly rescheduled. Everyone's waiting to see whether this brand survives the blow. And here's the kicker. Even a complete courtroom win won't fully clear Sharpe's name. That's the reality of the internet. You can be found legally innocent and still lose in the court of public opinion. Screenshots live forever, threads don't expire, and AI-generated timelines will keep feeding conspiracy theories for years. Meanwhile, fans are left divided. Some demand accountability. Others see this as a hit job meant to take down a powerful black figure who speaks his mind. And while both sides scream into the digital void, what's really happening is that we're watching yet another celebrity walk the tightrope between scandal and survival, while the entire world watches with popcorn in hand. And yes, the deeper cultural conversation is unavoidable. Critics say this lawsuit reflects a bigger problem: the power imbalance in relationships between wealthy, older celebrities and significantly younger partners. The luxury, the fame, the unspoken leverage, it all blurs consent and complicates boundaries. Others push back. They say not every relationship with an age gap is predatory, that adults can make consensual choices, and that it's unfair to assume otherwise. But this case isn't about theory anymore. It's about what happened, what can be proven, and what the public decides to believe first. Even the mention of Blake Lively, Taylor Swift, and Ryan Reynolds being pulled into a completely different legal drama recently has drawn parallels. Fans see a pattern: famous women or men trying to leverage media narratives ahead of legal proceedings. Right or wrong, it's all becoming part of the same online spectacle. And at the center of it now is Shannon Sharpe, once the voice of reason in heated debates, now the subject of a firestorm that could burn everything down. So what happens next? Sharpe's legal team will likely file a motion to dismiss or push for arbitration, hoping to take this out of the public courtroom and into a private resolution. The plaintiff's team, on the other hand, may want this as public as possible, banking on support, outrage, and emotional resonance to build momentum. Both sides are now racing against not just deadlines, but digital perception. One leaked document, one out-of-context video, one viral tweet, and everything changes. And even beyond the outcome, this case may permanently shift how celebrity lawsuits are handled. Sponsors might rewrite their contracts. Platforms like ESPN could introduce new background checks or off-air conduct policies. And upcoming stars, athletes, influencers, actors are watching, learning how fragile fame really is. Sharpe, for his part, continues to show up on air, dressed to kill, cracking jokes like nothing's changed. But behind the sharp suits and viral sound bites, there's a man facing one of the most high-stakes legal and personal battles of his life. His future with ESPN, with his podcast, with his brand, all of it now hinges on court filings, public perception, and a timeline of events that the internet is dissecting frame by frame. If you enjoyed watching, you're not going to want to miss it, so don't forget to like and subscribe.